I want to talk to y'all about something very important. Welcome in, Joy AIA. How are you? I finally got some of you guys' messages. Yay. I did return some calls today. Some calls I didn't get any answer, but it's probably because of my area code and stuff. So it's okay. I'll call again tomorrow. But without further ado, I want to hop right into our reading because it's 9 o'clock and I'm kind of tired. So I want to get some rest. I don't want to push you too hard. Hi, Cat Daddy. Since I'm just now feeling better. So last night we left off on our reading and we talked about asking God to break us, and that some of us don't want to ask God to make things harder because we fear that we will struggle through the hard and we won't survive it. But in order for us to sometimes grow, we have to ask God to come in and change our situation, to change our circumstances, to otherwise ensure that we actually do something different, because we can become very comfortable with where we currently are and what's currently going on for us, that we don't look at change as something where we might have to evolve our whole being. But what we like to talk about here at iRise is how our weight loss and wellness journey does require that we change our whole being. And so as part of that process, we've been reading Dangerous Prayers, Hi Sole, by Craig Groeschel, and we are moving into section 2.4. And in section 2.4, it's actually talking about the part where you're being broken and released. So last night we talked about what happens when you know that you need to pray for it to be broken, but you don't want to go through the suffering that may occur from being actually broken. So you avoid that prayer. But what if the growth is in praying for the breaking? Asking God to bring you closer, calling out to God, allowing that connection, that bond to happen through prayer, asking Him to break the thing that may be holding you bondage. What if the thing that you think is your comfort zone is your breaking zone? What if that's what you need to stop doing? What if exactly who you are currently being is exactly who God needs you not to be? Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. What if? What if? What if From Death to Destiny is the name of my best-selling book? What if the very things that you think you need to hold on to are the very things that God has called you to let go of? Hey, Blue, what if? All right, let's hop into today's reading. It says, Broken and Released. Looking back, I now see why my small group reacted the way most of us do when we consider praying something so bold. Crazy, really, as break me. But I also suspect that most of us don't realize that playing it safe, we are risk missing something far more precious than our security and comfort. We don't realize what blessing might be on the other side of God's breaking. I see the blessings emerge in two powerful scenes from Christ's life. Both are described in the book of Mark. Curiously enough, back to back, while they may appear unrelated on the surface, they were a consistent theme. Something is broken so that something can be released. In the example, Mark describes the dramatic scene in which an unwanted visitor crashes the dinner party where Jesus was a guest. The visitor, Hylanita Hashantu, where the visitor was a prostitute, and times haven't changed much about how others view them. Most women hold them in contempt. Most men view them as objects for transactions or judge them, or both. But we must keep in mind no woman grows up aspiring to be a lady of the evening, as my grandmother used to call them. In most cases, desperation drives a person to sell their body in order to survive. Many likely feel powerless, trapped, without any options to improve their life. The same was true in Jesus' day. If a young woman became a prostitute, it was only because it was desperate beyond measure. She would have no other choice. Perhaps she was a single mom and was afraid of her children would go hungry. Maybe she had been sold into slavery and saw no way out. Perhaps she'd been abused her entire life and had no self-worth, and simply didn't believe she was worthy of anything more than using her body to survive. We don't know a lot of details about the woman in the story, but we do know what she did for a living. And we do know that somewhere, sometimes, somehow, she encountered the love of Christ. We don't know exactly when she met Jesus or what she said to her, what he said to her. We don't know if God's love alone were on a dirt road. The only thing we know for sure is that she met Christ. And she knew with certainty that Jesus was different. In some way, High Trucker, Heidi Crenshaw, in some way, at some time, he showed her unconditional love when she had known only abuse. He treated her with dignity. He showed her respect. He honored her when others heaped shame. Jesus would have shown her the same love, same grace, same mercy that he offered to every repentant sinner that he ever encountered. Though she would have been full of shame, he helped her feel worthy. Hey, beautiful high queen, though she would have felt worthless, he showed her she had value. Though she was guilty of sin, Jesus offered her grace. So this woman wanted to do something to show her gratitude. Knowing Jesus and his disciples were at the home of Simon the leper, she went in to deliver her thanks to the Redeemer. Whether premeditated or spontaneous, it's unclear, but the value of the extraordinary offering goes without saying. She likely brought her most precious possession, an expensive jar of exotic perfume. And in an act of unbridled worship and devotion, she broke the jar and poured the perfume on his head. At his first glance, this may sound like much of a deal. So she broke an open jar of Chanel. So what? But her audience immediately recognized the significance of this gift on multiple levels. First, there was the value of the perfume. This rare and expensive treasure would have cost someone about a year's worth of wages to purchase. Think about that. How much would you make in it? Do you make in a year? Now imagine in one moment, with one single display of worship, giving the whole amount to Jesus. That is what this woman did. She broke the bottle and gave it all. How much do you make in a year? Now imagine in one moment, with one single display of worship, giving that whole amount to Jesus. This is what the woman did. She broke the bottle and gave it all. Remember, this woman was not doing a job that she loved. 1 year of wages equals 1 year of shame, 1 year of humiliation, 1 year of sin. How many horrible encounters did she have in 1 year? How many men used her and despised her? And yet she broke the open bottle and worshiped Jesus. The sudden gift shocked some of the people in the room. Stunned, they barked indignantly to one another. Why this waste of perfume? It could have been sold for many more than a year's wage and the money given to the poor, and they rebuked her harshly. Maybe you and I would have reacted in the same way. It seemed so wasteful, a crazy stunt. But it wasn't just a stunt. The magnitude of selfless act of devotion didn't stop at the monetary value of the jar's content. At that time, perfume was so rare that everyday women never thought of buying or wearing perfume. It simply wasn't feasible. It costs too much, way too much. So who would be willing to drop big bucks for fragrances? Women like this one. Some theologians believe the only women who wore perfume were the women of the streets. The fragrance was a form of advertising. Those who were perfume were sending a bold and fragrant message: I'm available for a price. So when this woman broke open the bottle and poured out the valuable cologne, she wasn't just parting with the money, she had earned it. She was parting with her past, her profession, her livelihood. The perfume not only represented the work she had used to do, it also represented what she could use to stir up future business. When she broke the bottle, she burned her bridges. No going back. She poured out all the perfume on Jesus, symbolizing that she would give him all of her life. She broke the jar and poured it all out, released it, surrendered herself. Her act communicated more than any words. Thank you, Jesus. Here's my life. It's all yours. Lord, you can have it all. In the name of the Lord Jesus, here's my life. It's all yours. You can have it all. Take it all away. That's what I wrote. Wow. I think it's kind of self explanatory tonight. That tonight, I think we must be willing to give up our most fleshly desires and all the things we think that make us valuable and worthy and give it all over to God. I think that's what He means when we ask Him to break us. Are we willing to sacrifice every and anything in order to be closer to Him, especially when it comes to this food and dieting thing? So that's what I want to ask you. What are you willing to surrender, to release, to let go of? Not what you're afraid of, but what are you now willing to not have? Craig, good show. Tomorrow night, same place, same wacky station. Sorry, you guys. I have clients on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night. So, fortunately, the time is a little later. Any questions about tonight's reading? Pretty powerful. Tonight was good. Same reading tomorrow night. Bring your book, IKEA. Bring your book. Bring your mindset. Bring your questions. Remember, on Tuesday nights, we do questions. So come tomorrow. We'll do it again. God bless you. God keep you. I won't keep you long. I just want to encourage you to take the reading seriously. If you're on Team I Rise, you're doing the 11-day shred, you're reading the book, you're doing your meditation, you're eating good, you're moving your body. We're killing it. If you haven't tapped into the 11-day shred, all you have to do is be a part of the 12-week transformation program so you can get the coaching that you need. But it's really easy to get started. You just get the 12-week transformation link. You come straight in. We've already started the challenge. You can start at any time. You can start it next Monday, this Monday. We got it in where you can access it on your phone in an ebook so you can get to it. It's inside the group. I coach on it. So tap in. Let's go. All right. See you guys later. God bless you. God's grace.